Good afternoon and welcome to our daily altcoin live stream. It is the 15th of October 2019. Today we'll take a look at Bitcoin dominance and see if the altcoin season is really here or not. If that's interesting to you, you will likely enjoy our technical analysis here. Let's jump into, first of all, the disclaimer. This isn't trading advice, just market observation as we go through some specific indicators on a daily basis here. And I've got these out of order. What did I do with my main screen here? Pardon me as I don't know, I reorganized things here somehow. Let me check to see that the chat box is working along the side now. Refresh this. And it doesn't seem to be working. All right, so here we are. Yeah, it's showing the right thing. Let's jump into the charts I want to start off with here today are looking at the four main charts. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple. So in the 1 hour view, we can see that Bitcoin certainly has been in a downtrend this past while. Looking back to the very beginning of September here in these charts. If we look at the beginning of September, we did videos here on September the 8th and 9th talking about this potential bottom formation and break of the downtrend line. It looked like a great place to set up. And you can see that our exponential moving averages on the Litecoin kicked us out of this trade earlier, and we've been just watching, trying to get back into it. Now when we look at the chart for Ethereum, it's making a potential 1, 2, 3 top formation right here, and really keen to watch this uptrend line to see if it breaks and pulls back. Much the same condition over here on Ripple, though I messed up grabbing the chart there. We have this potential top formation setting up here as well. So in today's episode, I want to take a look closer at the indicators underneath these coins. And I want to see if Bitcoin dominance breaks below these levels, we're in good stead. Then altcoin season is here if Bitcoin dominance is breaking down below these levels. And this is the measure of altcoin season. So if this is coming down below these levels, we're good. The thing I'm watching for is that break of this trend line and that Bitcoin dominance may be going back up this way. If that's the case, then the alts are really sliding against Bitcoin, and we want to pay attention to the top formations that we might be seeing in these coins. Let me go over to the chat because it doesn't seem to be pulling up onto the website properly. Hyped. We have our popcorn ready. Popcorn trading strategy is a specific strategy that happens only at the very beginning of the bull market in the altcoins. It'll only happen at the beginning of the bull market when everybody's in denial about the bull market actually starting. And once it starts and we have a few popcorn moves, then everybody gets wise to it and they don't happen anymore. So now let's jump into our charts. In this live stream, I endeavor to go over the coins that are traded over on BitMEX so that we can be seeing where to go long and where to go short on these and make some projections. However, if the markets are flat and sideways and making formations like we have now, it's a lot of observation and not a lot of actual trading. Hey, T Solemnity, good to have you along. Solemnity, I said it right? Yes, we'll start off with ADA actually. T Torchin, good to have you along. And Mick Momo, good to have you along as well here. Hey, the chat is coming up on the website now. In the live stream. Very awesome. So in this episode, let's take a longer term view look at these charts. I want to start off with a longer term view and plan out my trade and then zoom in when the trade might be possible. And of course, it's in a long-term downtrend, making a bottom formation. So I'm really not looking to sell low and try to get into a short now and get out lower. Sell low and get out lower. How do you do that? Buy high and sell higher is also a mistake. So I don't want to sell low and try to sell lower. I'm just going to sit still and wait for this to manifest a bottom formation. So we've been watching for the break of the trend line in the relative strength index because it generally means we're going down when that is broken. And that we have it going down, and this formation setting up where we're having our 1, 2, 3, 2, 3 formation breaking lower is really important. Important in that we don't want to jump into a long position right now. There may be a swing trade entry coming up. We'll look at that. So in this chart, I want to pay attention to the volume and the pattern of volume, but I'm only going to really pay attention to it when we have a 1, 2, 3 that's actually breaking a little higher. Then this volume becomes more important to me. And because we have this historical volume here, I like it. So long as this, I'm going to be paying close attention. If we start to break up above these levels, we'll be flipping our bearish stance from today and going long on these for sure. Now, if I go into ADA in MACD indicator and we're on the 1-day view, this is looking a little negative, right? This is crossing to the negative, and just that hint of negative right here on the daily makes me have to zoom in to the 12-hour. It's crossing to the negative, and we have this 1, 2, 3 top formation. And I got to point out on the 12-hour, this divergence here as well, as we've got a double top and we have a negative divergence or bearish divergence on the MACD. I didn't pull it up on the 12-hour time frame for the relative strength index, but better because we have a double top and a divergence here too. So this is, these weaknesses was showing itself to us. We have exhaustion wicks, we have a double top, we have divergences going on, we have a 1, 2, 3 top formation, break of our downtrend line. The only thing we need to see now for a sell signal actually is the cross of that 4-hour exponential moving average. And that would say, okay, part of my position at least should be coming off as a safety measure. And then when the 12-hour EMA is crossed, we're done, we're out. So this is looking bearish. This is crossing bearish, and I don't like it. If we go into the 12-hour time frame of the Ichimoku cloud, it has also just crossed bearish. And this is something I want to go through with every one of the coins that we do here today is double check. Did this cross to the bearish on this potential top formation of break of the trend line? If we can pair those together over and over again in our mind, this pattern becomes something that you respond to reflexively without me having to tell you. You know it, you learn it. This is something that you've taken and added to your repository of skills that you can actually put into practical application while you're trading. It's not just technical analysis. This is a really specific point that you can make decisions on that are clear in the charts. It's not a Fibonacci that you can move around. It's not a trend line that I can change. This is a 1, 2, 3 formation and a clear crossover of this indicator. But the crossover of the indicator could be changed. I could change the parameters of that, but it's important that we keep the same parameters and we study it over and over and over until you find where that parameter makes its crossovers compared to your chart pattern. Once you've got that, just repeat and watch and watch and watch and watch and watch and repeat. I'm also starting to look at Bollinger Bands, and I'm a complete noob at Bollinger Bands. It seems difficult for me because I need to learn more for sure, but as it comes down to the bottom of the band here, it stays right on the bottom of the band. And if it lifts off, okay, this is, in hindsight, it's a good time to buy, good time to sell. Hindsight's always wonderful. I could always point to those where to buy and sell. But I want to know, as it's happening now, if this is a buy signal that we are watching right now that we're calling a top formation and a break of this top formation, and it's actually in the Bollinger Bands, it's actually a buy signal. So that is the study for Bollinger Bands. I don't know the results, and I'm looking for your input now. If you're watching this as a replay afterwards and you have a chance to leave a comment in the description down below, please let me know more about the Bollinger Bands. Anything that you can put in here. I've got a couple other PDFs that I'm going to start repeating through our stream here, and we'll get some regular habits with the Bollinger Band too. Let's go on to see. NKN is a good buy now? I couldn't tell you. I don't even know NKN, but we'll take a look at the chart after we go through these next 6. ONT, we'll take a look at that afterwards as well. Everything in USD is looking anemic, like without blood, fading off, losing power. Let's go on to the next one. BCH ABC. I've kicked this out of our conversation quite a bit since it came below these levels, and I thought, okay, you're like at brand new lows. Now you have to make a whole new number 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Now, if it comes back up to these areas and we start to watch it do something, I'll pay attention. And other than that, not much. And I'm not even going to short it because it's just a gamble now to know where this might go down to. That's not the kind of thing I want to short. I want to short after a beautiful trend line to the upside, and it gives us this wonderful top formation and breaks out of that trend line. And a longer trend line that we've just seen in some of these coins. So EOS, look at this. Trend line, top formation back here. Beautiful. That's the kind of thing to short. Woo. Let me just go to airplane mode. So let me zoom in on this. It's also flagging and easing off. We have our RSI breaking to the downside. So that's pretty much all the technical analysis I do on a coin like that. Done. Because it's not setting up to anything I can trade. And I'm just going to quickly go through. Volume, I like it. It's eased off a little bit here. But I like that it's got some there. So if it does jump back up, we'll pay attention. It'll be a few days at least. And if we go into the MACD, this is crossing over to the negative, you know. So it's just like sit and watch, really. It's in a gray zone. It's in a near fail status. I just sit and watch it. There is another verification. And here I wanted to look at this. The crossover of those things right now. As we have the lower highs, we have the one, this is a bigger 1, 2, 3, and then we have the little 1, 2, 3 here, giving us this tiny little heads and shoulders formation, break of the uptrend line, and of course, it's such a small little move here. You grab your Fibonacci tool and you say it's going to go back to the 50%. Well, it already broke past the 50% level, so a whole bunch of nothing to do here. Just got to wait for it. Fiddle along here, and if it goes down more, I'm not shorting it, because it's already down so low. I'll just watch. Now, for my own educational purposes, let's go into the Bollinger Bands. So this is broken quite a bit down below the Bollinger Bands, but look at, you know, this example here. I don't know when to buy compared to when to sell. So I need to start combining maybe some of our other indicators. And my eye is always looking for the 1, 2, 3 bottom. Where can I find a 1, 2, 3 bottom on this? Okay, now I got an idea. We're in the 12-hour time frame, and we're watching the Bollinger Bands float along the side of our trend, our channel. And as it's coming down, we'll zoom into closer time frames and look for a small time frame 1, 2, 3 formation picking up off of the 12-hour, you know. And if it's doing this, we can take a small position right off of that. And then the trouble is, where do I get out? 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 I guess I would have to look for a little wee 1, 2, 3 top formation on a much shorter time frame if I'm trying to ride inside one of these envelopes. Oh yeah, I don't know. It's the picture, the pattern recognition hasn't clicked in here, so it might take me a while. We'll just continue to go through it. And I look forward to any of your input. Let's go on to Ethereum. So Ethereum is giving us a potential top formation as well, that we have the 1, 2, 3 here. We've got easing off RSI happening here in the 12-hour time. That's the 1-day time frame. So in the 12-hour time frame, it's a little bit more clear. We can see this divergence setting up. So it does make me feel like there's going to be some pullback. It is a little 1, 2, 3 on this 4-hour time frame, but the exponential moving average hasn't crossed over to the negative yet. So it depends on, you know, when you got into it, how much risk you are willing to take with your profits, and all sorts of variables as to whether or not you would sell on this. But what I'm looking for is for this, I would give it just the idea that it's making that top formation and we have the RSI divergence so strong, first of all, I want to look for the 50% level of the recent move. And because it lines up so awesome with technical levels, that wouldn't be a surprise for it to come back to these levels. And if this is coming back to these levels and the other coins are easing off from their top formations as well, then we should be seeing Bitcoin dominance rising back up from here. And so if we are seeing this rising back up and we're watching those top out and pull back, it's time to be cautious at least. And this is what I'm doing this stream for, is to say, is the bull market a myth? Is this really taking off or not? So let's zoom in to Ethereum on the on-balance volume. Good volume, but easing off as we've gone across this side. We'll see how that plays out. Ethereum, if I zoom in on the MACD, see I did a bunch of scribbling here, and I shouldn't have cleared it off. Let me see if I can undo that. No, I did too many. So the main thing that was looking here, it was the Fibonacci retracement, pretty much the same thing I just did earlier, except that I had a specific number in it, whatever number it was, just down into this range. So if it pulls back to this level and it gives us a bottom formation, this would be a really beautiful place to be watching for a pocket. And just to zoom in on the 12-hour, it is crossing over to the negative. So every one of these is crossing over to the negative at this time, just to document it. I don't know, I'm just saying. Now Ethereum, again, I'm looking at the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and then trying to use my moving averages maybe as a way to keep me in so long as I'm up along the top of this band and the 1, 2, 3 top formation, my moving average is crossed over. Now it's starting to make a little bit more sense as to where the trend is moving, so long as it stays up against that top edge. Well, this is the 4-hour view. Got to keep that in mind. So the shorter time frame, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, combined with the longer time frame, seems to start giving us some information. 1, 2, 3 top formation here still though, in my view. Until it breaks higher, it looks like a 1, 2, 3 top formation. And ascending wedge triangles always do look like death all the way along as they come down, and then they break out higher. And in hindsight, they're obvious. But as they're building up, they look like death all the time as they're coming to these points here. These ascending wedge triangles are difficult. Oops. If you haven't already, go over to the website and get the free webinar of our complete trading system. I've actually put in some more details about what's included in this free webinar when you sign up. It gives you the full trading plan, the entire simple trading plan. I teach you the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and then I give you the 5 stages of the plan. And this is really important for this altcoin stream, especially more so than the Bitcoin stream. Because in this altcoin stream, we're looking to get into and build a diversified portfolio and establish it over time, and then unwind it when we come to the top formations, wherever they are. We don't know how big that bull market's going to go. The market decides that. And when the market is deciding that, we have to respect it and decrease the size of our position. So that's what the whole game is here. And the best picture of the game, I'll save this for the end. For now, let's go into Litecoin and see what's going on here. Litecoin, as we started off the episode and we were looking at all the charts, you can see here over in the 1-hour chart since the beginning of September, Litecoin hit a bottom, made a bit of a bottom formation, made some strength, and then it's pulled back and it's got some really big wicks to the downside. Are these exhaustion wicks to the downside? The bears dumping and everything is just being soaked up? When we see this flipped upside down, those are exhaustion wicks to the upside. Usually we have a pissing off the roof formation after this. So is this the beginning of that long pissing off the roof formation in Litecoin? Let's see, because if I go to the 1-year view, this is how they start, is a failed 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So we're really watching this. Nothing set up here for a buy signal, and because it's at such historical lows, I'm not selling. So I'm pretty much tied to just being an altcoin trader, but what I'm looking for is that chance to go long with leverage. So we'll just continue to study this. Yeah, an important thing here is that the volume's not picking up. So this kind of market doesn't take me much time to trade. I just look at it and go, nothing. That's it. I'm done. I look at cross to the negative, cross to the negative. I'm not going short. Okay. Tune in tomorrow, this episode, and we'll see what goes on. Here, just for the notary of it, it did cross. Even this crossed more negative as we're in this very same spot. That is ominous with all of them doing this. Even Litecoin that is down below the cloud already is crossing more negative. Now, what did I do with... Oh, there it is. Okay, so Litecoin and the Bollinger Band, of course, it's laying along the bottom of the Bollinger Band. Now, let's watch how this unfolds and continues to break around the corner as this goes down. This is all new to me. I'm just learning Bollinger Band. So looking forward to your input and your tips on Bollinger Band, any kind of stuff at all. Bring it over to our Discord chat. Share it there too. TRX Bitcoin. It's actually crossing the exponential moving average on the daily view, and we have a divergence in the RSI. If I zoom in on this little bottom that we're shaping up here, it's giving the divergence easier over here. I meant to zoom into the 12-hour. That's a stronger divergence here. 1, 2, 3 top formation. If I zoom into the 4-hour time frame now, the exponential moving average hasn't crossed over, and our RSI has come back pretty deep here too. So when it comes back this deep, we could have pulled back as far as we're going to pull back. And this I didn't see in the other coins, and maybe I just missed it, that they have also come back to these levels, and the RSI has given us this support along the bottom here on the 4-hour time frame. Compulsively goes back to look. Yes, indeed, there's that support. Ethereum's not got just support, but it's actually a bit of an angle upward. EOS doesn't have it. It broke down below that support here, but we'll see. This is actually more positive, and I don't like this coin, so let's go on to 80, and I don't know anything about it. I have no reason to have a preference on it, but this broke down below its level and actually just changed shape as we're looking at it. Okay, well, I got to jump back to TRX now. This is where we first discovered it to see that maybe we're catching some strength here and holding on. Let's zoom in to TRX in the on balance volume. It is holding pretty steady volume all the way along here. The 1-day EMA is crossed over. 12-hour time frame, 1, 2, 3 top formation holding its own. Less volume on the second high. I don't know, just looking at it, less volume, more selling volume here than we've had. We'll see if this holds up. If this builds back up, we could be picking back up, but I wouldn't be going bullish until we're actually breaking above these levels. Then we'll see our indicators supporting it, because too many crosses to the negative like this right now. We've got a cross to the negative and a negative divergence on the 12-hour time frame that still didn't cross to the positive yet. So I really want this on the 4-hour time frame to catch itself, right? It's gone to the negative here. It's got to cross back positive and undo this. So it still looks bearish to me in TRX. How about your cross? You didn't cross over yet. You're the only one so far that didn't cross over on the 12-hour Ichimoku cloud. What about the 4-hour? Fighting it, but it still could be a buy. Well, it could have been a buy signal in Ichimoku uptrend, but it's twisting to the negative. We didn't have a cross to the negative yet, but that's really close. I'm certain it will cross to the negative should we break below these levels. Now, TRX, still the 1, 2, 3 top formation is the main thing that jumps out to my eyes right away. My eyes are trained to see that, especially when it's a 1, 2, 3 on top of an 1, 2, 3. This is part of the, we could buy on the breakout of the 1, 2, 3, wait for it to come back and retest it, and then buy on strength because then we know it's not a fake out breakout, but it's actually a real breakout that's holding its own and starting to show strength. So it's could be a really good movement here as it moves up from here. But this Bollinger Band is a sell, and it's in the middle range here, so it's not giving us a buy until this tightens up maybe. And should it tighten up? Okay, tightening up on this small range, maybe we could get into it. I don't know. And it's really pushing hard against the bottom of this range. So should this hold itself here and start to pick up off this, I will want to pay attention. Let me see. Lisbon here. Hey, thanks for joining in. T. Torchin, can I review the 30-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour charts of XMR USD? Yep, I'll go and check that out. First, I got to go and search out NKN. I didn't do Ripple yet. Let's finish that off so that I can have it in order. Go into Ripple. Okay, you know what? I'm wanting to be bearish on these. I'm expecting to be bearish, sort of as a safety precaution, just because I've been burned so many times that I'm expecting that this has the chance to go up. I want to guard against it. If it goes down from this, I want to be prepared. So when I go in, I look at Ripple and I see this strength building up here, and I see even this candle starting to build as we're talking about it. Then I want to be ready for all of the other altcoins to be taking off as well. Even though they may have broken down below their 4-hour exponential moving averages on some of these, they probably will pick back up and jump. And when they do, I expect it to go really fast. So that's why I like to do these things daily, so that I'm catching it. And then, of course, we continue the conversation over in our Discord chat. If you haven't joined that already, be sure to. One thing I'm noticing here is that we have volume, but less volume each one of the runs up. When I go out to a long-term view, this is insignificant. In fact, the volume is quite fine at this level. We haven't had actual volume kick in here yet. Since this is supposed to be changing the entire banking world, it is a good idea to have just a little bit of it, and that you don't worry about little price swings about it, and you just sit on it for 3 to 5 years. I'd imagine that your $20 will be worth quite a bit more if you can sit on it for that amount of time. This is looking pretty good. So I want to go into Ripple on this time frame, and many of the other coins, we're getting this negative setup here where we've got the MACD crossing to the negative, and then another cross to the negative with a negative divergence. And I'm pointing out all of these negative things, saying, oh, we've got lower highs here on this, it's crossing to the negative, and let's see if they all burst out higher and cross positive now. Should they cross positive, of course, we'll be talking about it in our Discord chat as it's happening, so you can catch on to that. Now, this is the second of all of the coins here that did not cross here on, that didn't cross on the 12-hour time frame either. So this is really held strong, where the first ADA, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Ethereum, and Litecoin all had crossed over on the 12-hour time frame. This hasn't. So if they uncross, they're probably going to break these highs. So then Ethereum is not making a top formation, but it's making a consolidation and a beautiful trend channel that is going to be, have a really big green candle stuck on the end of it here. Something crazy like that. And it happens. So it's so important to be ready for it ahead of time and not be FOMOing in with a market order as the markets are breaking. Don't wait until it's breaking to do your trading. Let's go into Ripple in the Bollinger Bands on the 12-hour time frame, pushing up along the top all the way along here. So that's really bullish that it's holding up against the top on this time frame. We haven't seen it do that on the way up at all here ever. We got lots of it on the way down, and a little snuggle up against the top here like this, but never have we seen it doing this push, 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 push against these levels. That's a very different volume pattern than we see across the bottom here. This is all dumping volume. This is all hype and pump, and this is a different volume pattern. We are into a different scenario here that we haven't seen. We haven't seen it do this. This was a very short little pump. This was a little excitement pump. This was a little excitement pump compared to what is coming, according to what this chart is just telling me right now. And I didn't get that view from anything else, that it's showing me this bullish nudge against the edge. Wicked. And it's even better because we put on a nitro trade in our alerts package. So our alerts package put us into this trade. I believe I waited until right in here. Maybe it was a little earlier. I'd have to double check it now. It might have been the breakout here. And then we had a nitro trade alert right here, which both proved phenomenally profitable right as soon as it crossed those levels. And now there's nothing to do but sit on this. And if it crosses over, we'd reduce the position. But nice to see it setting up so wicked. Let's go over and check a look at NKN, which I have to search for. NKN, because I have no idea. NKN BTC. Well, that's why I have no idea. It's always impossible to do technical analysis on something that has so little bit of time to it. Then you have to rely on fundamental analysis. And so I don't trade these. If something comes out like this and it takes off and everybody's all going, wow, I go, yeah, I can't trade it. I can't trade it. So I'll let it go for 2 months and it's going up and up and up, and I just let it go. And then something happens where it's on its downtrend, and these projects are new, maybe they're not finished, they're not released yet, there's all that long lead time that all of the investors get bored with it. It starts to go down a little bit more, panic selling goes in. Eventually it makes a 1 2 3 bottom formation for me, eventually. And so I just had no idea. And I would track it, I would look at it, but I couldn't trade it for quite a while yet until it gives me a formation of something. And it may not need much of a formation if it built something for a while and then started to make a clear. It's hard. And I could only do it like nano trading on this. I could never do a big trade on something that's so new. And if it turned out to be great percentage gains, it's awesome. But still, even if I couldn't do it, it just doesn't fit my rules, so I couldn't do it. And I remember having an argument with a guy who says, "You trade like a grandmother." And it's okay. I continue to trade like a grandmother. I still trade ONT BTC. Long-term view. It is shaping up nicely. We're looking at the 12-hour time frame. So let's grab the indicators. We have this uptrend in the relative strength index. And every time we have a trend, I want to watch for the break of that trend, up or down. If we're going into a downtrend and it breaks, I want to pay attention to that. If we're in a downtrend and it breaks, here we have a very big trend. This one, we had the trend here before. What year was that? That was just this year. Okay, and this is really cool too, because I've been going through all of these charts to look at the bottom formation that happened here in December. There is I don't know what you call a class or a generation or a group of charts that made movements like this, and then they came back down, and then they faded off here April 1st. Then there was this next group of coins that took off like 6 weeks later. While after everything else had taken off, after the coins that we've been seeing such great gains on, once we've seen those taking off, let's go Go to the Pro Alert Signals, and it draws from our live spreadsheet data from our best trades. So here's some screenshots here. Link up 62%, 112%, 98% on AMB at the time. So AMB is up to 108% now, and these are drawn in live from the chart. So MDA was over 100% yesterday. It's down to 75% right now, but it's still, our stop loss is above our entry. We're just going to sit on these and see how it goes for now. So these are the first generation of coins that really took off and went up. So we can see that ANT was one of the second generation coins last time, where we've already got that first generation coins. Maybe they're making top formations now. ANT, I want to pay attention to. Here, we had a similar uptrend and then it flagged off a little bit, but then it pulled up from there. So even if it flags off from where it is now, I'll be definitely watching for that turnaround in this coin. I'm not as excited about this coin as a second category of coins, is we have coins that made bottom formations here in August. Then we have two different categories of coins. One we just talked about, and sort of this one that from this August low, there was a category of coins that came up and did something like this, like Ethereum, like ADA, like TRX. Then there was another category of coins that didn't do quite so good on this specific day here at the beginning of September here, September the 8th. They all just sort of went sideways, and it's so frustrating, and it looks so awesome, but it could go sideways for many more months, and there could be a little bit of down shakeout before we start finally going up. So even though I like this chart pattern, it's just not ripe yet. It's like a really beautiful apple that you just can't pick yet. It's not ripe. So if I go to ONT, and you know it's an apple, it's going to be a delicious apple. ONT, BTC. Good volume set up here. Good buying, good buying, good buying. So it is getting support here. This is the pre-pump patterns that I like to look for. It is. It'd be something you could salt in a little wee bit. And then once it actually proves that it is changing direction, and once we actually see that Bitcoin dominance is dropping from these levels, then we're dancing. Then ONT is more my friend. ONT with the MACD. Okay, looking more positive. We've got crosses to the positive, and it's just opened up to the positive here as well. So those add in well, so long as, again, it's got to break above this little 1, 2, 3 formation. It's got to build above this bigger 1, 2, 3 formation. All of those things have to build and grow. So like, it's just a not ripe fruit. ONT. Yeah, and Ichimoku Cloud, it's getting above it, right? It's just edging above it. But again, I need more juice. It just could be the perfect time to buy into it. Just my own trading rules, try to filter that stuff out. Let's go into ONT because I want to get a complete picture. So the Bollinger Band is really tightening up, as you would expect, as it's going down and more sideways action. And I don't know how this will play out, what this will tell us as the prices move. Then I want to come back in and watch. What does this do on each time frame? Exactly. Track it all, monitor it all, put it together with different patterns, and then I can start to build out patterns that maybe I can trade off of, especially the pissing off the roof formation. Especially if this can help me identify a 1, 2, 3 that looks so awesome, setting up here so phenomenal, and then it fades off. If the more things that we can have that help us catch that moment right there and know the difference between the breakout and the breakdown, the better we're going to do in our long-term trades. 1, 2, 3 top formation right here. Break down below those levels. What did the Bollinger Bands tell us about that as it was happening? I got to know that it's giving me more than what I have right now. So let me go back to the chat here. From everything in USD looks anemic. On the edge. Yo, Lisbon here. T Torchin. Can I review just the 30-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour of XMR? I go to my favorites on Bitfinex, and then I can sort it down to XMR USD. And I'm in the wrong chart. Favorites, Bitfinex, XMR USD. Nothing good. Nothing good. My eye is stretching to see that this is a down slope and this isn't as down slope, but it's hitting oversold, oversold, oversold while going down, down, down. It hasn't given enough of a divergence here to give me a bottom. It hasn't. It's coming down to those historical lows now. That it was, the historical lows, it's down in US dollar value considerably from where it was in December. Am I going Bitcoin versus Bitcoin? Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. To see the way it deflated in US dollar, many of the coins, I'd say that they've come like this from December's prices and back to December's prices like this. And then they're making bottom formations here. Is that, let me, no. No. Okay, so it's not an exception that is lower than December's prices compared to Bitcoin. So many of them are, but not quite as drastically. It seems like it's lost a lot more money value-wise. I would say that if we compared the market cap chart over time, I would say XMR has lost more market cap than the other coins. So when we're looking at the US dollar value, it is coming down to historical lows, but there's nothing good here. And I've been bearish on it for a long time. For a long time, I've been bearish on this all the way along as it's been making these formations and breaking lower and breaking lower and breaking lower. And I wasn't looking at the US dollar price though. I'm always looking at the BTC price, but every time it broke one of these levels, it was killer, right? These are the pissing off the roof formation patterns that we need to study over and over and over and over again, just like a pilot needs to study and practice a landing in a crosswind landing or aborting a takeoff just when the co-pilot says to abort. You don't think about it. You don't double check and say, well, I don't think we should be aborting our takeoff on this flight across the ocean. You don't double check that. You stop everything when that happens. So this is the stuff that I recommend that we learn ahead of time before we learn our entry patterns. And of course, I recommend that after learning entry patterns first and losing all of my money more than one time because I didn't know anything about risk control rules, that they're more important than the actual trading entry pattern. So I try to teach that in my courses. I try to make that a theme in the live stream. I try to make that a standard in my own trading, that I am paying attention when to get out. I'm paying attention to being wrong more than I'm paying attention to being right. Once I'm correct, then I try to put my hands under my seat and sit on them, and it's not my job anymore. Now it's the market's job to tell me how correct I am. My job is only tell when I'm wrong, when I'm wrong, when I'm wrong, and take action on it. So my position sizes have to be small enough at the very beginning of a trade that I can get out without very much loss. It can't be more than 1%, 2% of my entire portfolio. If I'm putting on 60% of my portfolio and using leverage trading on it, I am in whale food territory and most definitely going to lose my money just from the statistical odds of risk of ruin. The statistical odds of risk of ruin say that if you have a $10,000 trading account, you can only risk $200 per trade that you're making. If you're using a $10,000 account and you're using a leveraged trade with 50% of your equity, you are paying more than $200 in your fees for every single trade. The statistical odds of risk of ruin say that you will lose your money and you will quit trading within 18 months to 3 years. So those position sizes are probably way more important than the actual entries and exits that you're doing. Now, let's go on and do theta. I'll get off my pulpit here for a little bit, but I'm sort of preaching to myself when I go through that stuff, and I may sound like I'm ragging on you, but no, really, this is talking to my own inner child, my own subconscious. So theta rests with all of the rest of them, that the fate of theta is tied to Bitcoin dominance. While I can look at theta chart and I can see the 1, 2, 3 formations shaping up, and I can see the relative strength index divergence, and I can see that our exponential moving averages are getting close to crossing over, and it looks like, if you stretch this out technically and you say, oh, it's gone this long sideways, that means it's going to go this long upwards. It may, but it's going to take months to do it. And it may continue to go sideways for another 3 or 4 months. There's no guarantee that it's going to be going up right away. So the trading plan has to take into account that you are looking for the change of a trend, and it has to filter out crap. If it's not already going up, right? This isn't one of the ones that we grabbed into for our best trades because it just didn't break up above these levels to give us a position. And so we couldn't do anything. Once it gets up here and pulls back a little bit, then we can consider adding on to this and build out. Maybe not quite like that, but we'll see how that plays out over time. So it is building up. It is looking nice. It could be the perfect time to be loading up on it before it starts to move, because as it starts to move, then liquidity is the worst, and you'll probably try to do a market order as it's taking off, and you don't get in till like way up here. Then it pulls back, and you're second guessing yourself on whether or not you should have done the trade, and then you get out of the trade and it takes off and goes way up. So the entry plan that you use to get into your trade is really important too. Even though I teach the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and we talk about that here, we get into more detail about how to actually put on that trade safely in the most effective way inside our course. So theta, beautiful chart. And it is set absolutely on the list of something we're watching and not doing anything with it yet until it proves that it's changing direction. I don't want to get into a sideways market. So don't all the alerts in Discord just tell they are in alert status, not hold time? No, the alerts in our Discord chat are they tell you when I write up the alert and I enter it into the spreadsheet, it triggers the notification and it is published here and it's available in the spreadsheet so that you can go and check it out. But then the rest of it is now automated. So when the Bitcoin price, which is drawn into our spreadsheet from live prices, when the Bitcoin price crosses over our target entry, you can see here that this Bitcoin value was already higher than our target entry by the time this alert was sent out. So let me double check on that. That should have been triggered just as that went above 62.51. So the alert goes out quite a bit ahead of time. And it's an alert, get ready. That's stage 1 of the trade when you're planning everything out. And so you can go into our spreadsheet in the website and export all of the current alerts and bring them into your own spreadsheet and do some work on them there. And then the spreadsheet is watching that when it hits our stop entry, it'll send us out another notification. If the price is above our entry, then I'll go in and I'll manage the stop loss so that it is above our entry to protect that initial position. And this will be set up to go live into Signally when I have something like this cleaned up. We can't have this kind of lag. So this alert was published, but it's not a hold status yet. So the target entry is at 46.36, and we can open up the chart to go and take a look at that specific chart to see where the 1, 2, 3 bottom is, how the exponential moving averages are set up, where our entry would be, where our initial profit target is, and where the initial stop loss would be set if we were just planning out this trade. So the alerts give you all of that data up ahead of time as an alert. And then when it turns into a hold status, you get that notification, and it changes into the other spreadsheet in our spreadsheet in the website. Let's go back to theta. Alt market cap is on a bear flag. Hit the like button. More than deserved, I would say. Thank you very much, Dean H. I appreciate that. Altcoin market cap. Market cap altcoin. That is top formation pulling back in an uptrend. I want a parallel channel. Simple parallel channel. Really, yeah, I haven't looked at this in a bit. I'm glad you brought that up. Now I want a straight line. Important that if it's holding these levels like this, yep, that would be it. There's our top formations in many of our alts right now, making this exact formation. And we're considering, is it a top formation right now? Are the 4-hour exponential moving averages crossing over? Should we be reducing our position in the alts and waiting to see if this is a longer sideways pattern? Certainly, this is good to be watching to see the market cap going along with it. I've been watching dominance really closely and then the chart patterns, but this I've got to add in. Ba-dum-bum. PC Baxter, Lori, sorry, late again, but glad to be here. It's late doesn't matter because you can always play the live stream afterwards. Now, to date, we've really gone through a bunch of these alts. I'm really happy to go through ADA and just to capture this video, even though right today, I don't see any big trading signals setting up. There's no big exciting, oh my God, get ready. In fact, it's like, oh, it's really important to be sitting still. And if you've been sort of scaling into these, be really carefully watching if you should scale out of part of your position. If you started off too big, maybe just scale out of part of your position. If you started off small, you can ease back again. And you know what? I don't like to say it, and I don't like to suggest it because I'm kind of against, but it could be time for stablecoin. With Bitcoin topping out and alts losing dominance, or looking like they're topping out and losing market share, it really could be time for stablecoin. Bitcoin's not looking healthy. It's not like we're going to go into Bitcoin and out of alts right now. Actually, both look pretty crappy. So I should look at the overall market cap and bring that into one of these 4 panel charts here, so that I have the market cap set up properly rather than just the 4 main coins. But these I look at all the time. Bitcoin, Ethereum, top formation, Litecoin. So whenever Bitcoin is doing a quick move, I always pull these 4 up to see what's it doing to the others. No direct answer right now. It's we're in the middle. Bitcoin looks like a sell signal though. That's been a sell signal for a while. So let me go. Extra video. I hate you. Don't ban me. Vincent. I don't ban many people, but if you're spamming, I ban you. I just don't put up with it. Where did that come from? I see. All right. But that's it for today. We've gone through it, and we're just like, it's a whole bunch more sitting as far as I can see here. Ripple, I wouldn't be selling out of it right now. Ethereum, it hasn't broken below that 1, 2, 3 top formation and the 4-hour exponential moving average. So even though it's close to like hold back and ease off a little bit, we're still very close to the turnaround. And I was expecting Bitcoin dominance here. So we're still very close to Bitcoin dominance shifting the other way and giving us some juice. So tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., I'll do another live stream on Bitcoin prices, and we'll dig into what's changed in Bitcoin prices and our indicators. And I hope you guys turn up for that. If you haven't already, join us over on our Discord chat, drop by the website, and sign up for the free training. It really is awesome stuff, and I want you to have it so that you are up to, you're more educated about the trading stuff that we're talking about here. You already understand the complete trading system. Then you're starting to make practical use of it rather than just having more technical analysis information. That stuff is free, it's everywhere, and it doesn't make any sense if you're hitting all the keys of the piano at the same time. You've got to learn when to play them, which keys to play, why. Learn the stages of the trade, and then you can be giving me some, give me your success stories after you've changed things in your life and you've transformed your trading. I love hearing that I've actually made a difference in the world. And I hope to format all this information so that long after I'm dead, people who are not yet born may actually go through this stuff and help them change the way they think and feel about money and build some success in their own life, no matter when they start. So that's my mission, and I hope you join me in it. That'll wrap it up for today. I will head back to the intro video and some exit music. Cheers.